Okay, so just so you guys know, I am no expert. I am no doctor. I do not claim to ever be any of these things, but I do know how to read reports. And especially when you hear it from the horse's mouth about people who have been dealing with this particular situation for many, many years. I mean, some of these doctors have been studying kratom for 20 years now. And well, guess what? We've got our findings. And thanks to the AKA, they had a podcast that I'd like to share with you guys. Just a little snippet of the podcast. And in the description, I'm going to put down below anybody who uses kratom, anybody who's an advocate for it in any sense. You need to get on this and watch it, and you need to spread it around as much as humanly possible. This is very, very important. Now, first, let's talk about the person that's giving this explanation. And her name is Marilyn. You know, I'm not even going to try to do her last name because I know I will screw it up. So don't even worry about that part. But Marilyn is a toxicologist. She has been working in her particular field since, when was it, 1969? So she's been doing this a very, very long time. From things that I've read about her and her team and everything that she does, if you want to know how a particular chemical or a particular drug affects the human body, this is the woman to call. This is the one. This is the expert to call on anything that has to do with how drugs or chemicals affect the human body. So I want you guys to really, really pay attention to this next part. Now, the next part is the snippet of the video that I want to show you, where it's her section that she talks, and it's only a couple minutes long, and it goes over her conclusions. Again, if you are interested in this, and this piques your interest in any way, I will leave the link to the video in the description so you guys can go check it out. So let's go ahead. Let's watch a little bit of this, and you guys can see what I saw.
So in conclusion, it's critical that comprehensive toxicology be performed in these, quote, kratom-caused deaths, because in more than 90% of these, we find multiple other drugs, including potent opioids like fentanyl, oxycodone, antidepressant drugs, benzodiazepines. So one of the biggest issues we've seen is where there's limited testing. They find the kratom in the home where the individual is using it to help control their illicit drug use, opioid use, benzodiazepine use, etc. And most of these deaths, the individuals have multiple drugs on board and have a history of illicit drug use, and including novel psychoactive substances.
Now, that's one thing I've always believed in. Like, if you're going to take something that is going to affect your body in any way, I don't even care if it's taking a vitamin E supplement or vitamin D supplement or anything that's like that. I always believe that you should do your research first and find out if it affects the stuff you're already taking. Like when I first started taking kratom, I got off the gabapentin, I got off the antidepressants, I got off the other 7 or 8 drugs that they had me on. I stopped everything because I did not want to run the risk of, just in case kratom just happened to have an adverse effect with these other drugs. Now that I know that they really don't, that they're not even a catalyst, because once you see this entire video, I mean, you would have to intentionally sit down and ingest a lot of kratom powder for it to. I don't even think kratom poisoning is even a thing, to be honest with you, because of the levels that you would have to take. I mean, now don't get me wrong, like she's getting ready to say here in a second, there are some cases where some people have adverse effects, but that's with anything. I mean, I've got friends that have, or a friend that is, I wouldn't say allergic, but every time he drinks caffeine, he gets these heart palpitations and he feels like he's going to die. So he can never ingest caffeine. Um, you can have adverse effects with sugar, salt. You can have, what about peanut allergies? Peanuts can actually kill people. Are we going to stop selling peanuts? No, we're not. That's where I'm coming from. That's the logic that I come from. But let's go ahead and listen to the rest of her. I mean, it's so interesting what she says.
Which of course is a big topic of discussion here at this meeting. And most labs do not test for NPS. When we have drug cases where we can go back and do more comprehensive toxicology, we almost always find the presence of other drugs. There's a lot of new data, both epidemiological and controlled drug administration data, to inform pathologists and medical examiners of the effects of kratom and the relative safety and the drug concentrations that you find in individuals that do not show any signs of toxicity. So mitragynine is not an opioid based on its chemistry or.
Okay, so the days of everybody and their mother saying that kratom is an opioid, the researchers, this team of about 9 people have come to the conclusion after their, I mean, I've only known about the study for the last 10 years. So, I mean, I don't know if they've really been doing it longer than that. Not an opioid. So you guys can stop calling it an opioid. Let's listen to the rest of it.
Its pharmacological class. As you heard, it does have some new opioid receptor activity, but lots of other complex pharmacology as well. And we've shown no respiratory depression in both animals and in our clinical study. However, consumers need to be aware that they should not be taking really high doses of kratom, and they should not be mixing it with other drugs. Thank you very much. So
and I mean, that right there just proves what we've been telling everybody all along. Now, here's the next step. This is the problem that, like, and I mean, me and Jack and Chase and Cody, we talk about this all the time. There really does need to be regulations on this stuff. Because, like, when you get it from head shops and all those other places, you really don't know what you're getting. And 9 times out of 10, it's being cut with something that you really should not be putting in your body. I mean, so I agree with them as far as the fact that it does need to be regulated. It does need to be pure. I really honestly think that Jack and his family are setting what the standards should actually be. As far as kratom is concerned, it should be 100% powder. Um, I think a little bit different on extracts than Jack does. I believe that if it's a pure extract, it should be fine. I don't like synthetic. I don't like the realm of synthetic. It was the same thing with when they were starting to legalize marijuana. You know, I don't think marijuana should be synthetic either. Or mushrooms or anything else like that. None of that. It should be 100% pure, exactly how God intended it to be. But anyway, so I'm going to let you guys go. I really, really hope you guys sit down and just watch. This is so important, especially for people like me. Because like I've said over and over again, I would literally not be able to function. And I would have to go back to a doctor and get back on about, I think it was up to 8. I mean, my wife remembers that a lot better than I do, but I think I was on like 8 different medications. I can't go back to that. I was a zombie that couldn't think. I spent 90% of my day sitting on a couch. I couldn't even do simple things like house chores. I couldn't. And with this, I can actually get up and be a responsible member of society. I can start my studio. We have our data. We have everything we need. Let's be responsible. Okay. Anyway, I got to go, guys. I love you guys very much. I hope you found this informative. And if you guys got any questions, go right down in our comments. I love to see the conversations around Kratom in the comments, whether it's negative or whether it's positive. I love to see those conversations down there. Educate yourself, people. It's all about educating yourself. Let's get out there and do it. Thanks to the guys over at the AKA. You guys are really making a huge difference. And I mean, I can't thank you enough. I know everybody here thanks you too. So have a great day, guys. Love you guys very much. Don't forget to stay Andy.